I'm
checking
here.
out then anyway.
Yeah.
You get the
As we start to get some people into the stream. Good evening everybody and welcome to the Cone Racing Championship Tier 3 for round number 8 at Austria. I am your commentator, Jay Wolves40. I was going to say your sole commentator, but that's not quite how it works tonight, because in the commentary booth, if I can find his name on this list in here, here it is, Mr. CRL_Panda will be joining me at bits and pieces throughout the Grand Prix. He will be just giving me some insights what it's like whilst driving this in Tier 3. Sorry if the stream blue screens a bit, my PlayStation has this issue of overheating whilst sat in the menus apparently in F1. So what we'll be doing is, during, if he goes out in qualifying 1 or 2, and before the Grand Prix, and if there's any safety cars, he will be hopping back on the mic and giving me a bit of an idea of what it's like to be driving in this race, whilst I pick his brain and ask him a few questions, whilst he hopefully doesn't blow up under the safety car. Only 19 tonight, I believe, because I believe... Who is the driver missing? I believe it is Liverpool fan is not here currently. We've only got 19. That means we will be missing the Renault driver. Obviously, we all know how this works. 3 stages of qualifying and a 50% Grand Prix. Thank you for the good luck, Nathan. As we get ready to go. Ooh. If we don't hear from Liverpool fan within the next minute, we will be going at 7:35 GMT. Obviously, we have this and Tier 2 running alongside, and then hopefully after this finishes, Tier 1 won't be quite finished yet, and you can all hop over onto Tier 1 stream. Driver's been told to ready up, so let's get ready for, what will it be? An hour and a half's worth of action in Austria. Maybe a bit of weather to come into play tonight, we never know. Austria is known for rain. If you saw the Academy race, it rained with about 2 laps to go, was it, I believe. As my PlayStation loves to overheat once again. Oh, good luck for Tier 3 from Mark, love to see it. Good luck to you yourself tonight as well, mate. As my PlayStation stops overheating as we go into the race. Love to see it. Tonight, obviously, new rules. There is a mandatory 1-minute wait time on the grid to allow for all drivers to change strategies, possible little setup changes for after parc fermé, and change the fuel loads in their car. I'm very excited to see how this one goes tonight. Let me get up my Google Docs sheet. So obviously last time out in Belgium, Fretty won after taking those hards pretty much from the start, or it was from the start, till the intermediate stage, put it all on the line. As there we go, as it said lap 1 of 3, but no, it is qualifying 1. Let's get all this up. I want their fitted tyres, fastest lap. Yeah, so last time out, Fretty won in Belgium followed by Paradox in the Red Bull, and Forster, who finished third in the Racing Point. And what that meant for the Tier 3 standings was that Forster and Fretti are now exactly the same points with 1 round to go before the, I was going to say, the equivalent of our summer break here. A bit of a Easter break, shall we say. Our 1 week Easter break before we are back for round 9 in Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya. In third place currently is, I always get your name wrong, Kogut, the Polish driver in the Ferrari, followed by Freefall 75, who had a little excursion off track, shall we say, and we'll leave it at that, last week in Belgium, as Warrior Huntsman is the first man to leave his pit box in that Haas number 9, which we will be seeing in real life in F1 this season, which will obviously be run by none other than Nikita Mazepin, a man who splits opinion, shall we say. Who else is out? He's out on softs. Paradox is out on an outlap in softs. Infinite Glory's out on softs. Sorry, Paradox is out on mediums, my bad. I wonder if we're going to see any other drivers use mediums. I don't expect so in Q1. I more think people are going to save those for Q2. As Warrior Huntsman starts a flying lap on those soft compound tyres. I don't expect to see the drivers go all out in Q1, to be honest. Track temperature's quite cold still. Need to get some running in on the track surface to heat it up, get the most out of those tyres, hopefully in time for Q3, if it is to remain dry. I'm not sure, obviously commentators don't get told what the weather's like. I've seen in the chat saying this weather and who's jinxed it, so I'm assuming there's rain. I'm going to ask for some details on weather. I was going to say as Warrior Huntsman goes purple through sector 1, but obviously he will do. He's the first driver to set a time. This is going to be more of the part of qualifying, as we're just trying to see who's got all right banging times. As Warrior Huntsman actually invalidated coming up to the line around the final corner. Not a hard thing to do on the track like Austria. As Paradox goes first with a 105.2. Who will be next? It will be... let's have a look. I'm trying to tell from... it was Fretty's excursion off in sector 1. It's Infinite Glory on a 104.5. Let's go on a lap with Forster as he comes through sector 1 and 2, round turn 4. Our joint championship leader as it stands. Rainfall in the first 2 parts of the race, clouds at 45 minutes, so changeable conditions. Thank you, Freefall, for that lovely piece of information. So we will be seeing a wet start, which means drivers can really use whatever tyres they want in Q2 to get through, as McConey goes second and Japes goes third on their own respective 104 times. As you see Forster come up to the line now, will we see a sub 104? No, we won't. 104.8 from Forster. Anyone else? No Fandangle, who apparently went purple in sector 2. As Kogut comes in 6th on mediums on our 105.2, I believe. I think so. No Fandangle now, 104.3, sets himself first place. He'll be next across the line. It will be Craigo, I believe. Followed by JD as Craigo comes up to set a time round the final corner and sets a 104.8. 3.8, our first time into the 103s, as JD is next across the line coming around the final corner. He sets a 104.6. CRL Panda, who will be our guest commentator at points tonight, who apparently went purple through sector 1, has forced to improve his time to a 104.1. Still only one time underneath those 104s. In the sub 104, shall I say. Obviously, Poland Academy was set by myself at a 103.7. I would like to see some quite low 103s, to be honest, tonight. Anything in the 103.3s, 103.2s, I'd be quite impressed. Liverpool fan joins just now as Panda went purple in sector 2 as well. Looking to keep it clean around the final two corners, which he does. Up to the line now. CRL Panda goes 104.7. Maybe the timing sheets were lying to me. The Liverpool fan has now joined the session. Who will be next to cross the line? It will be Deluxey in his racing point, I believe. As he goes a bit wide but manages not to invalidate, keeps it on the black stuff. Out to the penultimate and final corner now. Nice and clean round the two final corners as he comes up to the line now for a 104.3. Piero next, I believe, former academy driver himself as well, as Liverpool fan joins the session, does a 111.3. That rolling across the line with invalidated time. That means Jacko, I believe, his next set time, who hasn't set an official time yet. No, it's Freefall Scott, the Flying Scotsman in the Renault, coming through the middle sector up to his sector 2-3 split. Will it be purple? Yes, it is, apparently, for Scott. Coming through the final two corners, just trying not to invalidate here. Keeps it nice and clean, it looks. Up to the line now, and he sets a 104.7. Jacko next to cross, I believe. For a man who hasn't set a time. Jacko, who missed in Belgium, missed out due to availability, sets a 105 dead. That probably won't be enough to have him safe. That Roland has invalidated again. Or a Huntsman who may be looking to get a bit of a toe from him. Down the start finish straight. He manages not to invalidate here, and he sets a 105.1. That probably won't be make him safe either. That Roland looks to go again as Fretty comes around the final two corners. The man in the black arrow, the Merc, sets a 103.796, making him the current fastest driver in Q1. The man who in our Mercedes chat said about worrying about making it even into Q3. If he keeps up like that, he most likely will be seen in Q3 today. That Roland coming up to the fourth corner now. Yellow flags in front from McLaren, letting him go. Sort of double left-hander through sector 2 and 3. As he invalidates again, that Roland invalidates again. As we look to Koga, who's still on mediums. Going again. Only improves by 2 tenths. Or Huntsman is into the pit lane. Paradox is down on his time, as that McLaren has done very well to get out of the way there. Almost too well, if anything. Around the final corner now, up to the line. Will this put him safe? It should do, to be honest, as Koga is 5 tenths up, so that doesn't look any sort of competitive. Jacko set a 104 dead on the second flying lap, putting him fairly safe into Q2 as it stands. And our guest commentator, Mr. Panda, who's in the pit lane, currently sat in 10th on a 10 points, 104 points. It's not a 10-6, 406. And you're now looking at a flying lap here. doesn't look so, as he looks like Corey will be coming to pit lane. I'm assuming to putting some soft compound tyres on. Red Sky's on the final lap. Apparently has gone purple through sector 1 here, coming down to turn 4. Many people are obviously getting this mistaken for turn 3 because turn 2 is just that left hand kink coming up the hill. This is indeed turn 4. Now into turns 5 and 6 for the sector 2-3 split. Will it be purple? It will be purple for Red Sky 86. Looking to keep it nice and tidy right now through the final 2 corners. Not invalidate, which he hasn't there. And that sets him a 103.8 as well. Looking to put him fairly safe into the second part of qualifying. That Roland is back out. And I believe those are the same softs again. Haven't seen a time from him or Liverpool fan who joined late, who is now on an out lap with 6 minutes to go, leaving himself enough time for 2 runs most likely. Is that Roland's coming through the final few corners now? Anyone else on competitive lap times? Infinite Glory, no. Panda has gone purple according to the map. Big bit of traffic in front of him. Hopefully they'll get out of his way quite nicely here. McLaren does so. Will the Renault look to get out of his way? Maybe not, if that's... They're both seeming to be on flying laps. Is that free fall in front? No, it will be Liverpool fan in front of him. Hopefully not slowing up the Alfa Romeo driver too much as he goes up on his time through sector 2. Obviously that's not helped him out the most. The Williams getting out of the way quite well, and CRL Panda looks to be heading to the pit lane. As we look now on board a Liverpool fan who's going slowly. Dat Roland coming through now on his flying lap. Will this be enough to get him safe? Not invalidating it at this point yet. Cutting it close there, comes through the final 2 corners, not invalidated, up to the line. It's P11 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Liverpool fan now on a lap. Piero down in his time on a lap. Freefall, who's on the bubble, invalidated his lap and only did a 105.9 anyway. Looking to these bottom half guys currently, who will all be looking to improve their times. Look at those gaps from about, what's that, Pierre in 17th on a 104.7 up to what, we'll say Deluxe, who's only what 4 tenths quicker than him in P8. And then the gap sort of starts to be from Jacko to Red Sky is about just over a tenth. Well, that's still not a massive gap. Very close field spread here. As Piero comes up to the line, puts himself into 14th. I wouldn't quite say he's safe with that either. Puts his teammate into the drop zone, who went purple through sector 2 and has invalidated. Ah, Scott. Let's have a look. Warrior Huntsman up on his time. Liverpool fan invalidated, I believe. So Warrior Huntsman looks to put himself safe. He'll need a big improvement to make sure he is safe, as he invalidates as well. Purple in sector 1 for Koga. I'm not sure. The game does tend to say if laps are purple when they're not. Luckily with Austria, this going in the pit lane, you can probably be in the pit lane with about, if you leave your pit box even by about 150 to go, 145 to go, you can probably get back round in time, to be honest, if you get the foot down. Warrior Huntsman invalidated. Liverpool fan now. He hasn't set a representative time yet. He hasn't left himself lots of time to do so, joining late. Maybe playing it a bit safe through there. Can he afford to play it safe is the thing. As he comes up to the line, you'd say he shouldn't have done, probably. Will he have enough time to go again? Or will he look to try... He definitely won't be with a turn 1 like that. But yeah, if you look from Faker on a 104.695, who's currently out, and then you've got 2 more drivers, CRL Panda and JD on 106.101. It's very tight. Free into the 107s as well. Drapes isn't that far away. Like on a track like Austria, all you need to do is get a good extra exit or so before one of the big straights, and you've made those 2 tenths up easily there. JD on a flying lap is up on his time. Liverpool fan, I'm not sure, but he seems slow trying to let people go, I believe. So he'll look to go again, I assume. We'll stay on board with JD, the Red Bull driver, who's probably under a bit of pressure here to make sure he gets safely into Q2. As he invalidates, he can save his ERS and fuel and look to go again. Paradox retires, that's in the pit lane, he's safe on a 103.9. Infinite Glory's down on his time by a 10th. Freefall has just started a lap, so is Drapes. So I'm going to stay on board with Infinite Glory for now. I'm going to get... It's not letting me change that, lovely. There we go, I'm going to have this ready to go onto Freefall. As Infinite Glory goes purple through Sector 2, it's fair to say he's most likely going to be safe here. As he invalidates. As CRL Panda, Freefall did not improve by enough, or if at all. CRL Panda improves to go to P8. We'll get on board with Warrior Huntsman now, who's apparently 2 tenths, or about almost 2 tenths up through Sector 1, putting Infinite Glory back in trouble. I believe he's on the end of his lap here. As long as he doesn't invalidate, which he doesn't, he should be okay. He is okay. Warrior Huntsman now. He's apparently 4 tenths up. Oh, as the AlphaTauri driver almost gets in the way there. Nothing he could have done though. Himself entering the pit lane puts Warrior Huntsman 17th and not safe. Faker coming through Sector 3 now. We'll need a bit of improvement here, about 2 or 3 tenths to make sure he's safe. He comes up to line, he is now safe, putting Piero out, and there's nothing he can do about it. He is done. So your bottom 5 from bottom stop is Liverpool fan who joined late. Freefall on a 104.7, Warrior Huntsman on a 104.6, that rolling on a 104.4, and Piero on a 104.4. They had a gap of around 8 hundredths between 16th and 15th, which, as we all know, in F1 it's not that much, to be honest. A slightly better exit from Piero off turn 3 possibly, and you've made up that time and you're through. That's all it takes, especially around the power track like Austria, as we wait on the Luxy to get into his pit box, and that will be the end of Q2, as he does so now, I believe. There we go. So it went Fretty who led the way on a 103.7, then Infinite Glory on a 103.8. He was in the drop zone for a period of time and then pulled out a good lap to put himself second. Craig on a 103.8, Red Sky on a 103.8 as well. So look, 3 drivers there. Look at that gap there, 2,000s. Paradox on a 103.9, and then we dipped into 104s with Deluxey Koga and Jacko all in the 104 deads. Forster and CRL Panda rounding out the top 10. And going out, we had Liverpool Fan, Freefall, Warrior Huntsman, Dat Roland, and Piero. And if you look here, what, 3 drivers pretty much all in, what, around a tenth of each other. No Fandangle not much further off that as well, so gaps are quite close all over the board, to be honest. And that's the great thing about Tier 3, such close racing from bottom to top everywhere. It proves it in the championship standings. As we get into Q2 now. As we have the Williams driver, I believe, is that Red Sky, leading us out for Q2, followed by the Red Bull of JD and a Mercedes of which one, Fretti or Marconi? Marconi. Paradox also on his way out, as well as Deluxey. I expect to see everyone on soft if I can get this back up again, because of the fact that from the information I've gathered, it is raining at the start, so you can just afford to go out on softs and make sure you get through. Then other than trying to, you know, put a bit of strategy into it, go on those medium tyres like you might do. You don't need to, obviously, with the whole lack of strategy, really. The main bit will be what happens in that point between the crossover from intermediates to dries, as Paradox getting some support in the chat. We love to see that. If you're sat in the chat, please give us some support for either your friends you have racing or possible former teammates or whatever there is. Deluxey looks to get away on that. We'll get on board with Red Skies. He'll be first to cross, which will be followed by, I believe, JD. So I'll get that up on here. See, Alfa Romeo of Chris Panda gets out the way. The experienced driver, Mr. Panda, knowing when to get out the way. 44.98 in sector 2. I expect that time to come down, to be honest. Saw a few quicker than that in qualifying 1, and it seems to have gotten a bit brighter between now and then. As he invalidates coming up to the line, we'll get on board with JD, who somehow hasn't invalidated, going extremely wide. Marconi improves to 104.3. Deluxey coming around the final 2 corners. We'll get on board with him. I believe there'll be a Hasu. No, that's Craig going on to a flying lap as Deluxey goes second on also 103.4.3. Paradox on 104.2. Jack on a 104.7. He can go quicker, as we saw in Q2. As Kogo is quick on a 103.9, someone who's sat right in the drop zone for a little while. Red Sky, who's invalidated again. Looks like it'll be JD next, looking to improve off that 105 dead. Which he does not, sadly. Red Sky, who you invalidated, looks to go again here. Obviously, how nice it is to get a good time in Q2 only really matters about getting into that Q3 knockout session for pole position, really. As Red Sky apparently goes purple through sector 2. As on those 2-lap old soft compound tyres, he sets a 104.8, putting him into P8. CRL Panda on an outlap invalidates, but that doesn't really matter. No times from himself forced the Drapes, Faker, Infinite Glory and Fretty as it stands, maybe trying to only use one set of soft compound tyres. Is this Chris Panda coming into the pit lane? He is. Thought so with that line. So we will get on board with Krago, who apparently went purple through sector 1. Red Sky also on a lap, but from what I saw was up on his time. As Krago improves to 104.1. We'll get on board with Drapes now. So he comes through sector 1, apparently going purple as well. Obviously the lower end of, well, I'd say, I was going to say top 10, but it's really the top 9 at this point will all be looking to go out again, improve their times. The likes of Jacko, who is also on that outlap, flying lap, sorry. But I'm going to keep my eyes on Drapes, who apparently also goes purple through sector 2 here. Doesn't invalidate. Looking to attack the final 2 corners. Doesn't invalidate. Comes up to the line. Will it be in the 103s? No, it won't. It'll be a 104.2. He will probably look to go again, I feel, as I expect everyone to get into the top, or the top 10 into Q3 will probably all be sub 104.1s, probably even possibly sub 104s in total. I'm not sure, obviously. I'm not sure about the pace of some of these drivers. I haven't really seen much of the practice of almost any of these, as Faker will be next across the line, I believe. Then we'll get on board with Fretty, the joint championship leader, as Paradox goes to 103.6. Oh, 104.7 for Faker. He will look to go again. Fretty on an outlap. We'll have a look from Marconi maybe as he sets flat. Drapes, here we go. Apparently he's 4 temps up. We'll have a look at this then. So he comes up to the line. He'll set a sub 104, a 103.971. Faker will get on board with Force now, who's the other half of that joint at the top of the standings. He doesn't go purple through sector 1. As Forster comes through to his sector 2 free split, doesn't go purple here, but that isn't a bad sector 2-3 split. He doesn't invalidate coming around the final corner, comes up to the line, does a 103.8. That would put him into Q3 as it stands. Outlap for Jacko. Anyone else? Drapes looks to be coming into the pit lane. McConey has invalidated, so this now gives me time to breathe in before the last 5 minutes of qualifying 2. I was going to say no sign of Infinite Glory, but he is on an outlap. He hasn't set time yet. Same for JD. He needs to get out as well if he wants to improve and go into Q3. Same with Red Sky, Faker and Jacko, who is also on an outlap. Sierra Panda, who's on the bubble, is also on an outlap here. Fretty also, who I looked at briefly, he's set a 103.8 on soft compound tyres. All of these drivers running on softs, obviously knowing the fact that it was... why are the timing sheets broken then? Because as Chris Panda goes for a spin as I go to talk about him, it told me Chris Panda was on an outlap and well, he's improved. So Codemasters, fix your game. As Deluxey goes purple through sector 2. As he doesn't invalidate, comes close to track boundaries. And he goes second on a 103.690. Jacko has come back into the pit lane after his outlap. He'll have enough time to go again. Is that a spin? I don't think so. It might. It was. Who was it? It was the Ferrari driver. That's why. Purple for Infinite Glory, as I saw through sector 1. As we get another comment. Love to keep up to date. Is it going to be wet, says that Roland. From what I saw in the chat, I was Mr. Fruitful75 told me that it's raining in the first 2 parts of the race and then clouds from about 45 minutes onwards. So I'm assuming so. Infinite Glory now coming up to the penultimate and final corner. He's looking to set his first competitive time and get him out of Q2. A 103.7, I would say, doesn't necessarily put you safe, but puts you in a very good position. Because all it takes is, look, CRL Pandering needs to improve by about 5 tenths, 6 tenths to get through here. I know that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. Faker, who's 2 tenths up through sector 1 alone, apparently. As JD crossed the line to go 13th, 104.5 for him. Yellow flag, that's Jacko on setting up for his flying lap afterwards. After this we're going to go to Crago. As Faker only goes P11, that does not put him safe. Crago invalidates. JD is apparently 4 tenths down on his time, which would put him, it would be quite tight between him and Crago. Obviously, as the rest of the lap to still also improve or get slower, as he improves apparently by 3 tenths through there. Invalidates coming through the final 2 corners, and he will invalidate there. Deluxey retires and Paradox also retires, feeling they're safe. 104.6 obviously backed off towards the end of the lap, but he could have been safe there, JD, if he had just kept it on the tarmac. Last thing you want to do on this game is give the game any reason to invalidate you. As Faker comes up to the line, he improves to 10th, putting himself through as it stands, but Crago will get another time. Infinite Glory retires. Chris Panda's qualifying session is out. He will be joining me for Q3, hopefully, as he does not leave himself enough time to go again. But as Crago looks to go again here, JD will be looking to go again here. 3 tenths down on his time through sector 1. Sector 2-3 split here. He's gone purple, according to the game. 4 tenths down on his time. No Fandangle thinks he's done enough with a 103.9 in P8. As JD comes up to the line, puts himself P10, puts Faker in the drop zone, who apparently also went purple through Sector 2. Times are starting to drop now. JD went straight on at turn 1. That is the end of his qualifying session, theoretically. As Faker looks to come into the pit lane, he won't be improving. Craig goes up on his time, he won't be improving. Jacko's apparently on an out lap. I don't know if this is the game messing up again. He improves apparently by a tenth, but he is still out. He went quicker in Q1 than he did in Q2. Craigo's invalidated, that means he will be out. The only man who can now improve is Red Sky, and he's invalidated, so he will be out. Which means JD gets through to Q3 on a 103.9. I did say I expect everyone to be in the sub 104s come the end of Q2 for those that get into the third part of qualifying. And what I've learned here is that the game is still broken, saying people are on out laps when they're actually on flying laps. JD, you are safe to retire, by the way, as you come into the pit lane, as the other two drivers on track will just keep going around. You are safe to retire. And so our bottom 5 went out in Q2 from bottom to top is Red Sky on a 104.8, 5 tenths adrift from CRL Panda on a 104.3, R Jacko on a 104.2, Craigo on a 104.1, Faker on a 104 dead, puts him out. And safe is JD on a 103.9, as well as Drapes on a 103.9, as we get on this screen as well. Look, it's like 4 drivers all through. The bottom 4 here that get through are all on 103.9s. The next 3 all on 103.8, and the 103.7 for Infinite Glory. Then Deluxe and Paradox on 103.6s. Maybe, just maybe, you can see these times drop down by another. I'd be impressed with it dropping down by another 2 or 3 tenths. Anything sub 103.3 I'll be very impressed with. As I'm going to see if Mr. CRL_Panda is going to join us for the third part of qualifying. He is going to join me. Is your voice on sharing, Mr. Panda?
Yeah, it should be on. Yeah,
great to see. I will check on the stream. Yes, your voice is sharing. Love to see it. So, before we get into Q3, describe your qualifying 2 sessions, shall we say?
Well, Q1 wasn't too bad. The time was alright. It was a 104.1, I think, which...
Yeah, it was, I believe.
But unfortunately, I couldn't... well, the thing is, I chose 3 softs and a medium. If I went out again on a fresh soft in Q2, it means I wouldn't have a fresh soft for the race. So I couldn't go out on a fresh one. So I was going
fair
out
enough.
on like 8% softs, because I had to use 2 sets to get through in the first one.
Yeah, so you weren't really ever going to improve, were you, sadly?
No, because I thought if it rains till, let's say, lap 20, then I could put a fresh pair of softs
So
on.
fresh pair of softs to the end.
Yeah. The plan.
So as we set up for Q3, I expect to see all the drivers out on soft compound tyres. Fandangle, Deluxe, Drapes, Infinite Glory and Marconi all out on softs. And there's, what's that, 3 of them in a bit of a train here. Drapes, is that Infinite Glory and who else is it? Ah, no Fandangle, as he'll be first to set a time. It will be Deluxe. I'll be on board with him for this first lap in qualifying. That will be followed by McConey, so I'll get that ready to go. Yeah, both of us. Love to see it. Oh, Red Sky, mate. Plenty of time to build on it into the race here. With it being wet, you never know. You might be able to push on from here, we hope. Wish you the best of luck, pal. As we see Deluxey on a flying lap here. Looking for the split time in Sector 2 into Sector 3. A 44.6, 44.5 is what I'm looking for. As we get a 44.4. Around the final two corners, very easy to invalidate on the exit of either of these, which he doesn't for the penultimate corner, and the final corner he doesn't either. As he comes up to the line, this is a 103.8 as we get on board now with McConey. I mean, no Fandangle after that, I believe. As he comes into the pit lane, very late choice from McConey to come into the pit lane there, and one that I'll say wouldn't be appreciated by the admin, shall we say, after they gave a bit of an instruction on how to enter the pit lane. There's no Fandangle. It says he was on the flying lap, but he is on a 103.6. Drapes does a 104.3. Code does a 104.5. So, due to the game's inability to say if a driver's on the flying lap or an out lap, didn't realise that No Fandangle has now gone to provisional pole position on a 103.6. We're getting bored with Infinite Glory, who is cutting the grass. Paradox now on a flying lap. Yeah, I call that spin. Oh, as Paradox goes for a spin and luckily does not lose a tyre. The fastest man in Q2 has gone off on his first run in Q3. That's fairly similar to the spin you did through turn 1 and 2.
And then Infinite as well, so it's three of us now have done the same thing.
I didn't quite catch it. Did he spin fully or did he just have a bit of a half spin? Well, they've both got damage.
Right end plate.
Yeah, I believe that Paradox has lost both end plates, which he has. Who'll be... Anyone else out? Deluxey's out. He is up on his time by a fair bit. I feel this is just an in-lap. Get ready to go again.
You never know where they do.
Good evening, Greg. As he says, good evening to the both of us. Yeah, Chris is here whilst he is not racing, and then will be staying with us until the end of the 1 minute warning, shall we say, on the grid, and then we'll go from there depending on if there's safety cars, etc, etc, or even a restart if we have a huge turn 1 pile up or a pile up before turn 1 like we did in the academy, because obviously in the academy with restricted damage, less chance of that, whereas big boy damage here in tier 3, you know, if an incident like that happens, we could be seeing a few drivers go out. Big pile up, you never know.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the rain, so this is going to be horrible, I think.
Did you put a wet setup on? Is that an excuse I'm expecting to hear come out the bag? Bit of a wet setup coming?
No, I've got a fairly dry setup, but added a bit of wing. That's pretty much it. I'm hoping then in a pit stop, just to change the wing back.
Get that front wing down.
Yeah, that's the plan. But I think I'm gonna crash out because in Japan.
Ever faithful.
I crashed out. I crashed out in the rain in Japan earlier in the season. It was drying, and I tried to go too fast, too quick, and I went off.
See, the insight we don't get from people like me, because well, the academy's not. We've had 2 laps of rain all season. Yeah, very lucky. I almost binned it though on the final lap on Monday. Don't think it quite got picked up on the stream, but almost binned it with 2 corners to go.
No, I didn't see that, man.
As it says Fretty's on an out lap again, but I believe this is a flying lap. This game has been quite interesting tonight with different things. For example,
Yes.
No Fandangle was apparently on an out lap and then set a 103.6 to set himself provisional pole position. As Fretty invalidates, what lap time would he have done? It doesn't tell me now. As it says 103.889. So he would have gone second. It's still telling me he's on out laps. The game I know he's not.
With me, it's not saying that, so perhaps I can see it and you can't. So
yep, cheers game.
Everyone that's in the pits is in the pits. I think Deluxe is probably on an in lap, and then the bottom 4, I think, are all on laps.
Oh no! Apparently Deluxe has gone purple through sector 1. Apparently.
Well, that's not in lap just because he's been out. He's been out for 2 laps already on those.
No, he's on fresh pair of softs now.
Ah, it's changed.
As I'm going to sit on board with McConey. You've probably got yours on what he did his best lap on and not what he's got fitted. Yeah, that might be why.
Yeah.
As McConey comes up to the line, he sets himself a 103.9. As it will be Deluxey followed by Paradox. As Deluxey invalidates, Paradox coming through the final 2 corners now. Will he invalidate? No, he won't. After a shaky start to qualifying 3, he sets himself 3rd position. Infinite Glory goes up to 5th, so the only man we haven't seen is Fretty. Anyone else improved? McConey has by around a 10th and a half here, coming through the final corner. He comes up to the line and just about improves, but not enough to move him any positions. As we see Paradox spin again, cutting the daisies like Bottas did. Deluxey's up on his time as well. Obviously, real life F1 action returns this weekend in Bahrain. As Infinite Glory now puts himself 2nd on a 103.7. I'm just keeping on board here with the people who haven't set times like Forster, who apparently went purple through sector 1. JD in 9th, looking to set his first competitive lap time. As JD goes 6th, Forster, no, we'll get on board with Kogut, who's up to cross the line now. 103.9. We'll get on board with Forster now, who hasn't set a time. He goes and sets a 103.7, putting him, and then I assume he respawned to track, or that's just my game being laggy. You never know, as he went purple through sector 1. JD improves it. Paradox and Deluxey both retiring in the pit lane, thinking they've done enough to hold their positions and won't be able to go again. They probably haven't left themselves enough time if they're in the pit lane. As JD invalidates on the inside of the penultimate corner. Kogut goes off, no damage, so he might have time to go again if he can get round in time. No Fandangle behind him is 2 or a 10th and a half up. Forster coming through the sector 2-3 split looks slow, he's up. As Drapes goes 2nd now with a 103.6, as Fretty would have done a 103.8 again. He invalidated, he looks to go again here. I'll sit on board with him for his flying lap. It's not purple, and apparently he's now on an outlap as he goes deep into turn 3. This game is just superb.
Yeah, he did purple on my screen, but then it's been
What?
purple for nearly every car that's gone through.
Yeah, I feel that's... Yeah, I got through the Sector 1 split and then it said he's then on an outlap. So, hope we don't get out of the game. As the checkered flag falls, who will be next across the line? It will be JD, followed by Drapes, as he does not improve. Drapes now, he does not look like he's going to improve as he invalidates. We'll get on board with Fretty now, who's coming through the final corner. I assume he's on a flying lap. As he doesn't invalidate here, the joint championship leader sticks at 5th position on the grid as it stands. Koga next to cross the line. He's currently 3rd in the championship as he doesn't improve. No Fandangle's gone to pit lane. Forster is looking to finish his lap. I feel he won't be improving here. So this will be our final grid as we wait for No Fandangle to get into his pit box. He is safe to retire if he wishes. And that is your top 10. No Fandangle on pole position with a 103.607. Only 700ths quicker than that guy Drapes. Forster not that far behind on a 103.7. Infinite Glory also on a 103.767. Fretty on a 103.795. Then we drop into the 103.8s with Deluxey, Paradox, Koga, McConey, and JD, the only driver in the 104s. Paradox maybe feels he could have gone quicker as he went the equivalent of pole in Q2 with a 103.6. So maybe if he didn't mess up that first run with and leave himself with loads of pressure, he maybe, just maybe, could have gone pole. As we now have our mandatory 1 minute wait on the grid. Expecting to see a bit of rain here, I feel. Yes, it is indeed raining intermediate conditions, as I was told. Always Red Sky Reddy's up here. He will sadly get in a bit of trouble for that, as you're meant to wait for the admin to do so, which would be McConey here. I assume we'll just see drivers ready up now. Hopefully everyone's had enough time to sort out any changes they are looking to make. As we see this outlap here, let me get these up. I expect so, as I expected, intermediate conditions. I'm going to go to the interval gaps, and everyone, as suspected, on intermediate tyres throughout the whole pack. Possible driver of the day performances from any of these drivers, realistically. Someone like Freefall, who said in the chat that he had a wet setup on, so I'm expecting big things from you, my friend. I'm just giving you the opportunity to meme this if it all goes wrong. You're welcome. No Fandangle leading the way on this slow lap. Just everyone getting their tyres nice and warm, nice and ready to go. Let's see if I can get on board and spot the tyre temps. I don't think I can with the predicted pit stop strategy in the way. There we go. Still quite hard to see either way. All the drivers weaving, looking to get those tyre temperatures up. Bit of a gap between Crago and Jacko here. Obviously Jacko keeping it nice and slow, just trying to, you know, get those tyres nice and warm. As he's also got a bit of a fuel warning, so maybe he's taken out quite a bit of fuel here just to be nice and light on this start, maybe get a better start than the drivers around him, the only driver with that fuel warning. So maybe he's just thinking that his fuel conservation is good enough to be able to conserve enough fuel to take him to the end. What I do know is we are set for lots of action in Tier 3 here in the Cone Racing Championship. Current third and fifth position, so a possibility of an overtake from Fretty on him, I'm not so sure here. 3, 4, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go here in Austria as No Fandango gets a good start, forced to look to bog down, but Drake's got a great start, gets past, so does Fretty. No incidents, hopefully all's a little bit of contact. We'll have a look as they all stream through turn 1, everyone seems to be okay, and it's CRL, that guy Drapes in the lead, got a great start from P2, No Fandango second, Fretty with a great start, up from 5th place to 3rd place, Forster dropping one, as is, oh, there's a lot of touches and contact through turn 3, look like there's about 5 abreast at multiple points as Fretty goes for an overtake down the inside of No Fandangle, which he pulls off, putting him up in 2nd place as Craig gets 5-second penalty for a corner cut and gaining a position as McConey goes side by side. Four drivers all quite close together here as Infinite Glory goes around the outside of Red Sky. Who was looking to go down the inside here? It is our Jacko on McConey. Who's into the pit lane here? That Roland and Faker are into the pit lane, possibly with damage, I'm not sure, as Faker speeds into the pit lane and gets 5-second penalties for his trouble. Let's see if I can get this up. Who's been the big changes here? Infinite Glory down 7. He started in maths. Oh god, here we go. What's that? 5th place. The biggest loser. JD also down to 15th from 10th. Faker down 9. He's still coming out the pit lane. Force down 1. No Fandangle down to 3rd after he started on pole. Drapes looking to pull away from Fretty here as Jacko gets past McConey. And you could say that 5 position to gain there. Him taking that fuel down might have worked from here. Free fall up 7 from 19th to 12th. He's just picking people off and looking a bit racy here. And obviously, you've got to say, Fretty up 3 from 5th to 2nd, running wide there. But doing well as Drapes sets the fastest lap. Fretty now beating that. Let's have a look for some small gaps. Crago and was Infinite Liverpool fan and Warrior Huntsman go side by side into turn 1. All leave the space there, lads. Good battling though, getting the elbows out from Liverpool fan. As Forster may look for a move on No Fandangle here. Into turn 4. Thinks better of it and holds off just for now. You've got to say though, Drapes holding this gap quite nicely in 1st position. Quickly, just before I check anything else. Yep, that Ronan Faker thankfully came out on Inters. If they had come out on Jurais, I would have been quite worried, shall we say. As Warrior Huntsman going back past Liverpool fan. As Paradox gets past Forster into the penultimate corner and holds it. A lovely overtake in these weather conditions. Forster maybe looking at it now and going, maybe he should have gone for the overtake on No Fandangle, because now he finds himself in P5 instead of P4. He may look to go up the inside here. I don't think he's going to be close enough as JD's in the pit lane off those Inters. Did he have damage? I assume so for him to be coming in this early. Freefall now. Not quite close enough from what I saw. May look to have a go here. Faker sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in clean air. No move into there as Fretty looks to be cutting down the gap on Drapes in his Williams car. Probably getting a nosebleed in that Williams car being that high up the grid as he slightly loses the rear ends as Forster gets back past. Oh, and there's a yellow flag. Who is it? It's Deluxey, I believe, gone off. The Racing Point driver back on track now. Please watch out for being on the racing line as Fretty sets a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix.